and welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be the creature coloring video that I promised you. I have got 3 of the monsters all lined out. You guys will get them now in this size. I will have size down versions in the collage sheets, probably the colored versions if I digitally color them. As you saw, I have the frog guy already colored, so you guys will get the line versions, and then the colored versions will go, where is he? Hello, there he is. Oh, well, there's half of him anyway, but I will put the digitally colored versions into the collage sheet so you can have both versions. You guys get to color your own, whereas the mass of inkies will get colored versions. So, oh, my little monster eyeball is a bit bent because my book's bent, let's be real. So I've actually printed these onto watercolor paper to have a play. I tested it on matte photo paper, but the watercolor is just not doing the right kind of lovely thing that it should be doing. So I cut down some of my big paper and crossed my fingers that it would go through my printer, and it worked quite well. I quite like how they look, and I'm pretty sure that my watercolors won't bleed. Hold on, let me get my... I tried it on the matte photo paper and it didn't really do much to that, so let's just make sure that I'm not... Okay, it's like kind of resisting, so let's just stay away from those black lines. I don't want to get too messy. And then I've never really tried this aspect. I didn't want to redraw them for the millionth time, so I'm like, maybe I can print them and do that. So if I don't put so much water near the edges, we should be okay. It's a trial. So if I don't do heaps and heaps of water, we'll be okay. So let's talk about, it's gonna be a slightly chatty video because it's easier for me to tell you my thought processes than it is for me to do it and then try and voice over it. So I pick my colors for my monsters quite easily, actually. I tend to pick the cooler colors for my monsters, and that is because colors emote certain things. Colors have emotions attached to them. There is lots of books on color theory and how each color has a different emotion. I'm pretty sure Teen Breathe has colors in the most recent one and how they make you feel and what they're associated with and that sort of stuff. And I totally believe in colors make you feel a certain way. So like my favorite color is pink. When I am feeling really down in the dumps, when I'm feeling really perfect example, when I had so much staring at Japan, I dressed from head to toe in pink for a day at Disney to make myself feel better, to make myself feel more in charge and more powerful and more sort of like nothing can touch me, because pink is what I dress in to feel confident. That's the word I'm looking for, confident. And so that is, I use pink as a way to pep myself up. I also wear a lot of color when I am feeling really depressed. I have rainbow colored beads, I have brightly colored shoes, I have bright accessories and stuff that I put on when I need to feel happy. And of course, when I want to feel sad, well, not when I want to feel, when I want to emote something in my work that is sad and lonely and melancholy, which a lot of my monsters are that feeling because they're normally a representation of how I'm feeling. I draw some of my most favorite things when I'm feeling sad, or when I'm drawing self-portraits, like my little toothy monster. I was absolutely devastated when I drew him, and it totally comes out, and every time I see him I feel sad. But at the same time, I really like to use color as a way to emote their feelings. And so I tend to go on the side of the cool colors. Now this is a book that I picked up in Newtown a while ago, and I flipped through it way back when, a couple of years ago now, on Patreon. And this is called The Artist's Color Manual, the complete guide to working with color. So I've flicked through this before, and I'm pretty sure quite a few inkies actually hunted their own copy down. It is fan-flippin-tastic. It is a great color book. It goes way in depth with color and all that sort of thing. Working with color, mixing with color, goes into the colors on their own, but that sort of thing. But I'm just opening up to here. Now, cooler colors I associate with more somber feeling things, more sadder feeling things, and the more monster driven things. A lot, if not all, of my monsters are on the cooler color palette. The blues, the greens, the purples, the grays, that sort of tone. If I want to create a monster that is happy, i.e. this guy, where are you? This guy, as you can see, he is completely opposite in color to what I was just describing. The yellows, the reds, the oranges, and that sort of stuff. And sometimes greens are really a go-between. If you put greens next to blues, they'll look more cooler. If you put greens with yellows, they're gonna look more warmer. The green is a bouncer. Very much so. So like little pink guy down here, he looks quite happy down there in the grass. He is of the warmer stuff. But then if you go back, where are other monsters? So this girl doesn't look too happy. She's more cooler. Where are all my monsters? Do I need to go get my other journal? I may have to. Give me 1 second. Here I was thinking, see the little red guy, he is quite like content and happy, and he is more in the warmer tones. But I'm gonna go get the beast and flick through there because I know there's monsters. The first one that comes to mind is definitely this guy or this girl or whatever it is. Was a video way back when I was turning a swatch page into something. And this is very much the cooler end of the spectrum with the purples and the blues. And she looks super, super sad. These sorts of things look way brighter. I know there's more in here. Goodness, I haven't opened this journal in ages. Oh my God, remember my breakdown? I do. This guy here, even though he is of the blue kind, he is based with yellow eyes. There's more warmer stuff, so he looks a lot less sad than other things. I know there's a few more in here. This little guy, these guys, the show up guy. Where is he? Where is he? I know he's in this journal, the one that everyone loves so very much, the show up guy. Oh, I love these. I love them. Where are you? I know he's here somewhere. There he is. Now, even though this is greens and yellows, they're very dark greens and yellows, so they look a bit more sadder. If I was to use like a lime green and like a bright sunshine yellow, it would have a completely different feeling just based on the colors that I've picked. So I tend to try, and a lot of my monsters are blues and greens and purples because they emote so... There's so many warning pages. Look at me go. Look at me go. Side note. Anyway, so that's kind of where I'm talking about when I talk about how I pick colors for my monsters and things. It's just a way of how I see color and how I feel color. So a lot of the time I will pick a lot of cool things and I will use them to emote sadness, the shadows and stuff like that. So you think about when you have winter, and winter is full of really, really grey days. It's overcast, it's cold, it's wet, it's dark, and your mood shifts into a more sadder feeling way. Even though I love winter, the grey days and the constant darkness in the house and the lack of sunlight creates that really moody, dark feeling and just makes me feel sad. My depression rages in winter because of the sunlight, the lack of sunlight. When I lived in England, no offense to England, but I had like 2 sunsets in 2 years when I lived in England, and I was the most depressed I have ever been. And that is an indication of color. It just felt like there was no color because everything was always grey and everything was always sad. So when you go into summer and spring and everything is growing and bright and colorful and sun, those colors emote a lighter, brighter, happier feeling. So if I'm going to create a monster and I color him with bright colors and everything like that, you're instantly going to feel that it's a bit of a happier looking guy, a bit happier looking monster. And then if I'm going to go for the cooler palette and then put more shadows and things like that, he will look a lot more somber. So that is how I sort of tick those boxes, and why a lot of my little monsters and things are of the cooler palette range, because it just seems to give them that emotion a whole lot easier than what it would if I was to color them, say, with bright pinks and oranges. As you can tell, I don't do very many pink monsters or yellow monsters or anything like that. They're normally blues, greens and purples in that sort of color family, because they feel that really sad feeling. So let's have a play, shall we? Now I had picked, oh, there's a paintbrush in here. I had picked, obviously because he was a frog, I had picked greens and stuff like that, and the color palette that you saw, I'm going to throw up an image of him digitally colored now, and then we could color him completely differently. I could completely change the way he feels just based on what he's wearing, based on his colorway. So I could make him, let's make him yellow. So even though he is, do I even have an orange anywhere near me? I hate orange, and it's never in any palettes. And nope, it's not in any palettes. Nobody likes orange, sorry Angie. So let's just go with like yellow and Quin Gold. That's the closest you'll get. So even though he's a frog, we can just pretend. I really hope the ink does not bleed, because this is the first time that I have used a print of something to color in out of my printer. I normally hand draw everything for you guys, but because I'd sat there lining them in Procreate for hours, it felt like eternity, I wanted to make sure I could actually use them. And even though I'm not a big fan of him being yellow, because it's all just a bit too much yellow, isn't it? I want to show you how coloring them differently, coloring the same image, can make you feel different things. And like I said, with the cutting of his head off, he looks really like, meh, I'm going to work again, I don't really want to do it, but I will, and I just put my little pens in my pocket. Cut off his body, tilt his head to the side, put some butterflies around him, and he looks like he's singing on his day off. So it's like, it's so easy to change the feeling of something with just really simple tweaks. Simple tweaks. I'm gonna finish coloring him in speed, so that this video does not go on for forever and a day, because I feel like I chat way too much, and I have a journal keeper series video to start filming as well, because that was by highly requested, so I need to keep going with that. But I'm gonna speed this process up right now.
Take a leap of faith, run with me. Clouds go by and the sun is set high, and I believe you when you say that this is never gonna change.
What I'm also going to do is I'm going to reprint these two guys, and I'm going to color them with Copic markers, but I'm going to, because as you can see I've already got a little bit of bleeding where I've obviously used too much water, so I want to be super careful. But I'm going to create this guy in pinks and yellows and stuff in Copic marker. So that means in this version I'm going to do him in the cooler shades and show you that way. And then obviously you've seen me digitally color the frog, but I'm also going to use. Maybe I'll do a blue and purple version of him in Copic marker, so you can see how the same image colored in different ways can emote different feelings. It won't be drastic, but you'll definitely get a different feeling from them. But like I showed you with cutting the heads off and stuff, it are just simple little tweaks, can go from a really sad and grumpy looking guy to, you know, a little chipper looking guy. I'm actually mixing a few medias here right now. I'm using a bit of Prismacolor pencil, a bit of Jane Davenport Magic Wands, a little bit of the Zig Clean color markers, which are one of those forgotten ones. I need to do a series. I need to do a video with the Zig Clean colors because they were my bread and butter back in the hobo days, and I think I am totally in need of a Draw My Day using those. And then I'm just using the Signo White in the broad to add those little details on the little yellow frog. And now it is time to start tinting and coloring the darker shaded guy. I'm using a mixture of blues and purples from my Daniel Smith palettes, and just having a little bit of fun mixing and mottling them up. This is one of my preferred ways to watercolor, is just putting those colors down and letting them bleed into each other, and then amping those colors up with either colored pencils or markers or stuff like that. And this is no different. I am literally just enjoying the whole process of mottling up a monster, which is one of my favorite pastimes.
Running on the open fields, take on me, I'm worth your while. Honestly, I'm running a bit wild. Be brave, we don't need far too much, just stay brave. Beside me, happy days, running on the open fields, yeah. And I believe you when you say that this is never gonna change.
As you can see, those Zig Clean colors just blend so beautifully on the watercolor paper. I remember when I put that purple down initially and then blended out with water, I was even making my own noises of ooh and ah. I always forget how wonderful those markers are. I truly need to spotlight them in the next few videos. So let me know if you'd enjoy seeing a video using the Zig Clean color markers as a superhuman spotlight. I don't know, I'm babbling, but that purple really made me warm inside. little small human that's very excited about a sleepover. So I have to go do my mom job in a minute. But I have done the frog in the cooler colors, the warmer colors, and then in the green digitally. And you can see that they have completely different feels. This one, I feel he feels really cold and wintry, and therefore I associate that with being sad, because I don't like being cold. I do like winter, but I don't like feeling really cold, because then it makes my hands ache and my face ache, and then I'm miserable. So this is the emotion that I associate with this guy. And then this one actually, maybe because I gave him a pink shirt, emotes being a female. And I find, well, she emotes, I feel like they could be friends. They could be like dating, his and hers. I kind of like that idea. Maybe I should make that a thing. And this guy's just happy to be here. He's just happy to be here. I'm just happy to be involved. So there, I was going to color this one in the warmer tones, but I don't actually have the time because my girlfriend is going to be here in like 10 minutes for when Boo goes to her sleepover, her first sleepover in quite a long time. So she had her bag packed 3 days ago, and you'd think she's going for a week when she's going for a night. But that is how I like to tone my monsters. And if you want to, I would like to see you play with doing a warm monster and a cool monster. And it doesn't have to be the same image, especially if you don't want to color the same thing over and over. I totally get that. I was just doing it for the purpose of having something to show you. And I'll probably color one of these guys in pink, and then you can have a bit of a reference. Down below will be the black and white versions of the monsters for you to have a go. So I would love to see you do that. I obviously didn't get a chance to color this guy in, and I had envisioned him being in browns, and that is because I imagined him as a very swampy monster, so like coming out of the mud, just sort of dredging himself out of the swamp, and I just have him like with his arms sort of going and that's the voice and the sound and that sort of thing coming out when I was drawing him, and that's how I knew I wanted him to be that colorway. So I'll probably have him colored for a blog post tomorrow for you guys, so you can see them all colored, but down below will be your black and white versions for you to have a play with, and then you'll get the colored versions, probably the pink and the blue, and I'll put as many of them into the collage sheets if that's what you want. I'm quite happy to do that, but that is definitely how I go about tinting and coloring my monsters for myself and for you guys. I definitely err on the shadower, more melancholy colors if I want them to emote sadness, and then if I want them to be a bit happier and brighter, I normally go for the warmer tones, the yellows and the pinks and the oranges. Oh, you're going. Okay, I need to go. So have a wonderful weekend, guys, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.